I'm Ralph Mangum here on the WHKY News. Let's have a look at our weekly review of some of our top crime stories from the previous week. That's the week of July 22nd through July 26th. Here we go. 42-year-old Michael Terrell Hames of Hickory will serve an active prison term of 7 to 9 years following his conviction on assault and weapons charges. Hames' sentence was enhanced by his status as an habitual felon. The Honorable Peter Knight, Superior Court judge from Henderson County, imposed the sentence during Catawba County Superior Court last Tuesday after the defendant entered a guilty plea. He'll serve his sentence in the custody of the North Carolina Division of Adult Corrections. Hames pleaded guilty to assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill, 3 counts of possession of a firearm by a felon, and 2 counts of larceny of a firearm. His habitual felon status is the result of prior felony convictions for possession with intent to manufacture, sell, or deliver cocaine. That was in Catawba County in December 2019, possession of cocaine in Cabarrus County in April of 2004, and the sale of cocaine in Cabarrus County, that's February 1999. The assault took place in February of this year when Hames and the victim were engaged in a verbal dispute that led Hames to fire shots at the victim with a 9mm handgun. In March and again in April of this year, Hames stole handguns from the same victim. He had previously been convicted of possession of a firearm by a felon in December of 2019 in Catawba County. Elijah Adkins, Austin Grossand, and Joseph Hart investigated the cases for the Hickory Police Department. Assistant District Attorney Howard Wellens prosecuted the case with aid from legal assistant Meredith Scott. WHKY's Rob Eastwood has details on an arrest in a Burke County sex offense case.
The suspect in this case is a Burke County resident. There are 2 victims in this case, according to police. The suspect is charged with multiple counts of statutory sex offense. The suspect was placed in jail under a $250,000 bond following his arrest. He remained in jail as of the time I'm filing this report. 19-year-old Fernando Rodriguez Jose, who lists Morganton addresses on North Green Street and Bethel Road, was arrested Friday by Morganton public safety officers. He's charged with 2 felony counts of statutory sex offense with a person 15 years old or younger and 1 felony count of statutory rape of a person 15 years old or younger. On June 27th of this year, Morganton public safety officers received a report of an alleged statutory sex offense against 2 minors. The case was assigned to the Morganton Department of Public Safety Criminal Investigations Division. Their investigation led to Fernando Rodriguez Jose being identified as the suspect. Jose was arrested shortly after 9 a.m. Friday at the residence listed on Bethel Street. He was placed in the Burke County Jail under $250,000 secured bond. He was awaiting a Monday district court date. The investigation is continuing. If you have any information on this case, contact Investigator Bess with the Morganton Department of Public Safety Criminal Investigations Division. The phone number to call is 828-509-3654. Reporting for WHKY News, I'm Rob Eastwood. The suspect in this case is a Denver, North Carolina resident who is charged with assaulting his mother. Police say he admitted to the crime. The victim in this case was last reported to be in critical condition. As of the time I'm filing this report, the suspect remained in custody. He was being held without bond. 58-year-old Leonard Edward Hunter of North Little Egypt Road in Denver, North Carolina, was arrested Friday by Lincoln County Sheriff's officers. He's charged with felony attempted first-degree murder. Deputies were called to a residence on North Little Egypt Road after the victim's son called 911 to report he attacked his mother. Deputies arrived at the scene and took the victim's son into custody, and Lincoln County EMS rendered aid and transported the victim to the hospital. The 77-year-old victim was hospitalized with severe head and bodily injuries and was last reported to be in critical condition. Detectives with the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office Major Crimes Unit responded to investigate further and gather evidence from the scene. According to detectives, the son of the victim admitted to becoming upset with his mother and beating her. Leonard Edward Hunter was arrested and charged in the case. He was incarcerated in the Harvin A. Krause Detention Center in Lincolnton without bond. As of the time I'm filing this report, he remained in custody and he was still being held under no bond as he awaited a Monday district court date. Reporting for WHKY News, I'm Rob Eastwood.
Thank you, Rob. We'll check in with Ariana shortly, but first, 35-year-old Gaizi Yobani Paz Avalos of Taylorsville was arrested by Alexander County Sheriff's officers yesterday on felony counts of second and third-degree exploitation of a minor. In February of this year, the Sheriff's Office received a tip from federal authorities concerning Avalos' online activity. The information indicated that the suspect was downloading child pornography. Warrants were issued and Avalos was taken into custody. At last report, he remained in the Alexander County Detention Center under a $120,000 secured bond. A first appearance in district court was scheduled today. Thanks to WACB's Rick Gilbert for that information. 25-year-old Savannah Lachey Neal of Hudson Street in Morganton was arrested by Morganton public safety officers Sunday on charges of assault with a deadly weapon, a crime of domestic violence, injury to personal property, and driving while impaired. Just after 12 a.m. Sunday, officers were dispatched to UNC Health Blue Ridge in reference to a reported stabbing. The incident occurred at a residence in Morganton. Officers interviewed the victim and identified a suspect. While traveling to the location of the incident, officers were told that the suspect had called in and wanted to speak with them from a location outside the city limits. Burke County Sheriff's officers found the suspect and identified her as Savannah Lachey Neal. At 3:30 a.m., she was arrested and charged. No details were released regarding the victim's condition. Neal was placed on a 48-hour hold with a first appearance in court on September 27th on the charges connected with the stabbing. She was given a custody release and a first appearance on October 7th on the DWI charge. The investigation is ongoing with more charges pending. 37-year-old Dustin Timothy McCormack of Oak Forest Drive in Morganton has been arrested by Burke County Sheriff's officers and charged with felony counts of breaking and entering and cruelty to animals, along with misdemeanor counts of breaking and entering and injury to personal property. On July 15th, Sheriff's officers took a report regarding an incident involving a break-in and animal cruelty. The next day, an investigator made contact with the victim and learned that the victim had video footage of the incident. The investigator reviewed the footage and immediately identified Dustin Timothy McCormack as the person in the video. The investigator was also shown footage from McCormack's Facebook Live in which he appeared to make reference to the incident. The investigator also found a Facebook post made by McCormack that references the victim and shows pictures of the victim's residence. McCormack turned himself in after warrants for his arrest were issued. He was given a $20,000 secured bond with a first appearance in district court scheduled last Friday. His next court date was set for August 9th. As of Monday, he was no longer listed as an inmate in Burke County. McCormack currently has misdemeanor charges pending in Burke County for 2 domestic violence protective order violations, cyber stalking, expired registration card or tag, assault on a female, speeding, and resisting a public officer, along with a reckless driving to endanger charge. That's in Iredell County. 29-year-old Amanda Marie Minton of Roadhiss was arrested yesterday by Morganton public safety officers on a charge of misdemeanor child abuse. Just before 8 o'clock last night, officers responded to a report of a small child walking alone on East Fleming Drive near Hogan Street. Officers located the child, who was uninjured. The child was checked by Burke County EMS. The child says she had a younger sister who was also missing. Officers gathered more information and attempted to identify the second child, and also attempted to learn family members' names and locations. A search grid was begun by assisting agencies. Approximately 45 minutes later, the mother of the child called to report her child missing. Officers confirmed that the child they found was the only child missing. A second, older child was with the mother. Burke County DSS responded to the scene to assist with the investigation. Upon further investigation, Minton was arrested and charged and placed into Burke County Jail under a $5,000 secured bond. A first appearance in district court was set for August 16th. With 3 arrests from Caldwell County, here now is WHKY's Ariana Mack.
A man has been charged with felonious restraint. 19-year-old Henry Aaron Hopt, whose address was not listed, was arrested on Friday by Caldwell County Sheriff's officers. He was charged with 1 felony count of felonious restraint. Hopt was jailed under no bond in the Caldwell County Detention Center. A district court date was scheduled for August 8th.
According to the Catawba County Sheriff's Office, the suspect, who was killed during the incident last night here in Conover was 33-year-old Pierre Demond Ramser of Hickory. That incident occurred just down the road from where I'm standing in Conover. Ramser was wanted for charges including kidnapping. He is also one of the suspects who was arrested and charged in connection to the 2008 murder of Eddie Green in Longview. That case was reopened in 2020. Monday at approximately 6 p.m., members of Catawba County's Special Tactics and Response, or STAR team, attempted to apprehend a suspect wanted in connection to several felony and misdemeanor crimes committed in Catawba County. During the attempt, the suspect, Ramser, refused to comply with instructions to exit his vehicle. The suspect then reportedly struck several law enforcement vehicles and a private vehicle in an effort to escape apprehension. Ramser was then shot and killed by STAR members as he approached other members of law enforcement with his vehicle. The incident occurred in a parking lot at Elite Comfort Solutions on Farrington Street Southwest in Conover. Ramser was wanted for second-degree kidnapping, common law robbery, felony and misdemeanor larceny, communicating threats and injury to personal property. He also had an outstanding domestic violence protective order that deputies were attempting to serve. The suspect was also out on bond after being charged with murder in that previously mentioned 2008 case in Longview. The North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation has initiated a probe into last night's incident here in Conover. The Catawba County Sheriff's Office and other law enforcement agencies involved in the incident are cooperating with that investigation. Reporting from Conover, I'm Rob Eastwood, WHKY News.
A Taylorsville man has been charged with felony drug offenses. 42-year-old Cortez Lamar Rogers of Taylorsville was arrested by Alexander County Sheriff's officers. He's charged with felony counts of trafficking methamphetamine, possession with intent to manufacture, sell, and deliver meth, and maintaining a vehicle, dwelling, or place for a controlled substance. He's also charged with misdemeanor counts of possession of drug paraphernalia and resisting a public officer. According to the North Carolina Department of Adult Correction Offender Public Information website, Cortez Lamar Rogers has multiple convictions listed dating back to 2006 in Catawba and Burke counties. His most recent conviction was in July 2017 in Catawba County for felony counts of being a habitual felon and possession with intent to sell Schedule I controlled substance. He served approximately 4.5 years in prison prior to his release in February 2022. Rogers was taken into custody last Thursday by the Alexander County Sheriff's Office. Following the arrest, Rogers was detained in the Alexander County Detention Center under a secured bond of $100,000. As of this report, he remained in jail and is expected to appear in district court on August 12th. I'm Ariana Mack for WHKY.
The suspect in this case was arrested following a traffic accident. Police say he fled the scene but was apprehended. He faces multiple charges, including trafficking methamphetamine. As of the time I'm filing this report, the suspect remains in jail. A court date is scheduled in August. 41-year-old Shane Thomas Hammer of Taylorsville was arrested by Alexander County Sheriff's officers. He's charged with felony counts of maintaining a vehicle, dwelling, or place for controlled substance, possession with intent to manufacture, sell, or deliver methamphetamine, and trafficking methamphetamine. He's also charged with possession of drug paraphernalia, child abuse, and resisting arrest. Hammer was arrested last Thursday following an incident that evening. The North Carolina State Highway Patrol and the Alexander County Sheriff's Office investigated a report of a minor traffic accident. According to the arrest report, Hammer ran from the crash scene but was later detained. Hammer was incarcerated in the Alexander County Detention Center following the arrest under a secured bond of $100,000. As of the time I'm filing this report, Hammer remains in jail under that same bond amount. He was scheduled to make a court appearance on Monday. His next district court date is scheduled for August 19th in Taylorsville. Reporting for WHKY News, I'm Rob Eastwood.
2 people are facing charges in connection with separate business break-ins that occurred in the Denver and Stanley areas. 59-year-old Charles Raymond Stansel of Stanley has been arrested and charged with 2 felony counts each of breaking and entering, larceny after breaking and entering, and possession of stolen goods. He was also served with an outstanding warrant from Gaston County for breaking and entering, larceny after breaking and entering, and safecracking. 48-year-old Savoy Star of Charlotte is facing 1 felony count each of breaking and entering, larceny after breaking and entering, and possession of stolen goods. At last report, Star had not been found or arrested. 1 break-in occurred on June 10th at a restaurant near the 500 block of Brentwood Road in Denver. The suspect entered through a door after hours and stole an electronic gaming machine. The other break-in occurred on July 10th near the 6000 block of Old Plank Road. In that case, the suspects entered the business after hours and stole an ATM that contained several $1,000s in cash. During a follow-up on an unrelated case, deputies found a vehicle and trailer used in the break-ins and part of an ATM outside a residence near the 2000 block of Cardinal Loop in Stanley. Lincoln County detectives responded and executed a search warrant at the residence where they found and seized evidence. The stolen ATM and the gaming machine from both break-ins were recovered. Based on their investigation, detectives identified Stansel and Starr as the suspects in both incidents. Stansel was arrested and jailed under a $30,000 secured bond. An appearance in a Gaston County courtroom was scheduled Tuesday with a Lincoln County court date set for August 8th. The investigations are ongoing and additional charges may be pending. Anyone with information regarding the whereabouts of Savoy Star should contact Detective Probst at 704-732-9050, Lincoln County Communications 704-735-8202, or Lincoln County Crime Stopper 704-736-8909.
The guilty plea in this case was entered in January, as we reported here on WHKY. 52-year-old James Christopher Robinson of Granite Falls was sentenced Tuesday to 30 months in federal prison, followed by 2 years of supervised release for tax and credit card fraud. Dina J. King, the U.S. Attorney for the Western District of North Carolina, announced the sentence on Tuesday. Robinson will also have to pay more than $4,400,000 in restitution. According to filed documents and Tuesday's sentencing hearing, Robinson was the owner of multiple cabinet manufacturing and retail businesses in the Hickory area, including Cabinet Solutions USA Incorporated, Best Cabinet Doors LLC, Cabinet Doors Fast LLC, and Cox Manufacturing LLC, collectively cabinet companies. Court documents show that between March of 2020 and April of 2023, Robinson accessed the credit cards of cabinet companies' customers and, without authorization, made 294 fraudulent credit card charges totaling approximately $1 million. Robinson also created at least 4 counterfeit checks totaling more than $93,000 using information from actual checks written to his cabinet companies by customers. You can get more details on the crimes committed by going to this story at our website, WHKY.com. On January 17th of 2024, as we reported on WHKY, Robinson pleaded guilty to access device fraud and failure to truthfully account for and pay over trust fund taxes. He is released on bond and will be ordered to report to the Federal Bureau of Prisons to begin serving his sentence upon designation of a federal facility. So once again, a 30-month prison sentence for James Christopher Robinson of Granite Falls. Reporting from Catawba County, I'm Rob Eastwood, WHKY News.
34-year-old Dustin Michael Bivens of Taylorsville was arrested Monday by Alexander County Sheriff's officers. He was served warrants for failure to appear on multiple probation violations. Bivens was arrested in March for the same offenses. He's on probation and serving a Surry County 36-month suspended sentence dating to December 2022 for felony possession of fentanyl and larceny. Bivens was jailed in the Alexander County Detention Center under a secured bond of $150,000. A Superior Court date is set for August 12th.
45-year-old Nicholas Lee Walentowski of Heartland Trail in Morganton was arrested Monday by Burke County Sheriff's officers. He's charged with felony indecent liberties with a child. It's the second time the suspect has been arrested since June 28th. On that date, he was also charged with a felony indecent liberties count, as previously reported here on WHKY. That arrest stemmed from an investigation launched when detectives with the Burke County Sheriff's Office received information regarding a possible sexual assault on a child. The second warrant was served on Walentowski shortly before 2 p.m. Monday. He was placed in the Burke County Jail under $45,000 secured bond. District court dates were scheduled for this past Monday and for Thursday. The suspect in this case was wanted by police for allegedly violating the terms of his probation agreement. Police spotted him pulling into a convenience store parking lot and arrested him. During their investigation, they seized items including methamphetamine and marijuana. The suspect was brought to the Iredell County Detention Center following his arrest. 53-year-old Michael Sean Duncan of Taylorsville Highway in Statesville was arrested Monday by Iredell County Sheriff's officers. He's charged with felony counts of possession with intent to manufacture, sell, and deliver methamphetamine, possession of meth, and maintaining a vehicle for use of a controlled substance. Duncan is also charged with misdemeanor counts of possession of marijuana, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of marijuana paraphernalia. On Monday, Iredell County Sheriff's Office Aggressive Criminal Enforcement, or ACE team deputies received information that Duncan was in the area of Taylorsville Highway operating a Nissan Altima. Duncan had 3 outstanding orders for arrest for violating his probation. The deputies responded to the area and saw Duncan pulling into a convenience store parking lot on Taylorsville Highway. Duncan was placed under arrest. While conducting a search, he was found to be in possession of a meth pipe with drug residue on it. It was found in his left front pants pocket. While searching the vehicle, 11.88 grams of meth, digital scales, marijuana, and 9 dosage units of CBD gummies were found. Duncan was incarcerated in the Iredell County Detention Center without bond on the drug charges. He received a $50,000 secured bond on the probation violation charges. He had a Friday Superior Court date scheduled for the probation violations, and he has a district court date set for August 12th on the drug charges. Reporting for WHKY News, this is Rob Eastwood. The suspect in this case is a resident of the Burke County town of Glen Alpine. He faces felony drug charges. Police reportedly conducted a search after stopping the suspect on a roadway in Connolly Springs. During that search, they reportedly seized suspected methamphetamine and suspected fentanyl. The suspect was brought to the Burke County Jail following his arrest. 36-year-old Rodney Justin Crisp of Ed Bowman Street in Glen Alpine was arrested Tuesday by Burke County Sheriff's officers. He's charged with felony counts of trafficking opium or heroin, possession with intent to manufacture, sell, and deliver methamphetamine, and maintaining a vehicle, dwelling, or place to keep controlled substance, along with a misdemeanor count of possession of drug paraphernalia. Tuesday, shortly after 2 p.m., a Burke County Sheriff's deputy initiated a traffic stop on Crisp on US 70 in Connolly Springs. After a K-9 indicated on Crisp's vehicle, deputies conducted a probable cause search, which resulted in the seizure of controlled substances. Officers seized 28.5 grams of suspected fentanyl and 11.5 grams of suspected methamphetamine. Crisp was brought to the Burke County Jail, where he was being held under $75,000 secured bond. He had a Thursday district court date scheduled. Reporting for WHKY News, I'm Rob Eastwood.
44-year-old Regina Ray Bullock of Indian Grave Road in Lenoir was arrested on Wednesday by Caldwell County Sheriff's officers. She was charged with 3 felonies: trafficking in heroin or opium, possession of Schedule II controlled substance, and possession of Schedule I controlled substance. Bullock was jailed under no bond in the Caldwell County Detention Center. She is scheduled to appear in District Court on July 25th.
58-year-old Michael Anthony Green from the Wilkes County Township of Boomer was arrested by Alexander County Sheriff's officers Wednesday on a warrant for failure by a sex offender to inform law enforcement of an address change. Green is a registered sex offender as the result of a 2019 conviction for indecent liberties with a minor. Green was placed in the Alexander County Detention Center overnight and has since been transferred to the custody of the Wilkes County Sheriff's Office. No court date is currently listed. Thanks to WACB's Rick Gilbert for that story. 33-year-old Teddy Justin Rathbone of Black Mountain was arrested by Morganton Public Safety officers Wednesday on felony counts of trafficking opium or heroin, possession of methamphetamine, possession with intent to manufacture, sell, or deliver a Schedule II controlled substance, and possession with intent to manufacture, sell, or deliver meth. He was also charged with misdemeanor counts of driving while impaired, driving while license revoked, use of a red or blue light, simple possession of a Schedule II controlled substance, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Just before 11 o'clock Wednesday night, an officer stopped a gray Dodge Ram for a covered registration plate along with blue lights surrounding the plate. The registration plate was covered with a blue paper towel. The driver, Teddy Justin Rathbone, was advised of the reason for the stop. According to the arresting officer, Rathbone was extremely nervous and had pinpoint pupils. Rathbone exited the pickup truck and walked to the rear of the vehicle to look at his registration plate. The officer said Rathbone had drooping eyes and admitted to using impairing substances. Rathbone was initially charged with DWI. As the investigation progressed, additional charges were filed. Rathbone was arrested and jailed under a 48-hour hold. A first appearance in district court was scheduled Thursday in Morganton.
Police say the defendant in this case targeted women online. 31-year-old Michael Brandon Shin of Sherrills Ford received a sentence of 50 to 120 months or 4 years, 2 months to 10 years in prison after he entered an Alford plea to 3 counts of second-degree forcible sexual offense. The charges are from Mooresville and Lincoln County. An Alford plea registers a formal admission of guilt towards charges in criminal court, while the defendant simultaneously expresses their innocence towards those same charges. On June 19th of 2022, Mooresville police responded to a sexual assault call at an address on River Highway in Mooresville. The victim stated she met the suspect online and agreed to meet in Mooresville on June 16th. After meeting the suspect, the victim got into the suspect's vehicle and was taken to a remote parking lot on River Highway where police say she was forcibly sexually assaulted by the suspect. After the assault, the suspect left the victim in the parking lot without her vehicle or phone. Detectives were able to identify the suspect using information from the victim about him and his vehicle. During the course of the investigation, detectives learned that the suspect, who was targeting women online, may be involved in similar incidents in other jurisdictions. As a result of the investigation and collaboration with surrounding agencies, Mooresville Police and the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office charged Shin with multiple sex offense counts, along with a count of kidnapping. In addition to the sentence of 50 to 120 months, Shin will have to register as a sex offender for 30 years. He has received a permanent no-contact order with the 3 victims and is on 10 years probation. Reporting from Catawba County for WHKY News, I'm Rob Eastwood.
21-year-old DeMarcus Donnell Broadnax of Danville, Virginia, is in custody in Alexander County on felony counts of robbery with a dangerous weapon and possession of a Schedule VI controlled substance. The charges date back to 2021. Broadnax was transferred from Virginia to the Alexander County Detention Center on Wednesday. Broadnax was served warrants from April of 2021 in connection with a double shooting north of Taylorsville. Broadnax was one of 2 men shot at a location on Taylor Ridge Road off of Old Wilkesboro Road. Then Sheriff Chris Bowman called the shooting a drug deal gone bad. A search of the residence was executed following the shooting, which led to the discovery of approximately 350 pounds of vacuum-sealed packages containing marijuana and various concentrated forms of THC derived from marijuana, including wax. The street value of the substances seized was estimated at $525,000. Cash totaling approximately $240,000 was also seized from the residence. Broadnax is being held under a $200,000 secured bond. He'll appear in Superior Court on August 12th in Taylorsville.
And a man is charged with strangulation and assault on a pregnant woman. 22-year-old Anval Isaias Perez Ramirez of Kennedy Drive in Morganton was arrested Wednesday by Burke County Sheriff's officers. He's charged with felony assault by strangulation, assault on a pregnant woman, and assault on a female. Perez Ramirez was arrested shortly after 5 p.m. Wednesday at his residence. He was brought to the Burke County Jail where he was placed under a 48-hour hold. A district court appearance was scheduled for Thursday.
31-year-old James Edward Staley Jr., who is listed as a homeless person from Morganton, was arrested Wednesday by Morganton Public Safety. He's charged with 2 felony counts of obtaining property by false pretense and 1 felony count of larceny of a financial transaction card. Shortly after 3:30 a.m. Wednesday, a public safety officer responded to an address on West Fleming Drive in Morganton in reference to a suspicious person. Upon arrival, an officer came into contact with the suspect, Staley. A records check was run, and the officer learned there were warrants on file. The charges are in connection to the theft of items, including a small amount of cash and credit and debit cards. Following the arrest, Staley was placed in the Burke County Jail under a 48-hour hold. He was scheduled to appear in court on Thursday.
This has been our weekly roundup of a few of the crime stories we had for you during the week of July 22nd through July 26th. Look for the weekly crime recap every Saturday at WHKY.com and on our YouTube channel, along with all the rest of the WHKY news. I'm Ralph Mangum. Thank you all for watching.